Let me preach right quick. Y'all, here in this text tonight, we have witnessed Jesus experiencing pains, problems, and persecution. We have witnessed Jesus experiencing troubles, trials, and tribulation. We have observed him going through stress, strain, and struggle. I wish I had some more help in here. We have watched Jesus in this text deal with hurt, harm, and harassment. In this text, Jesus is going through heartaches, headaches, and hardships. But when we get to verse 64, Dr. Wise, Jesus says something that about blows my mind. Jesus says, hereafter. God, I had a feeling y'all wouldn't know what that meant. That's why you didn't shout right there. Jesus says, hereafter. Y'all, hereafter means after everything that has happened before we got to here. Hereafter. He says, hereafter. That's after Jesus has dealt with problems with people and people with problems in regard to being betrayed by Judas and being denied by Peter. Are you here with me? He says, hereafter. This is after Jesus has solicited for support and his support system has failed. Speaking of when he went away to pray, but when he returned, Peter, James, and John were asleep. Y'all ain't helping me in here. Hereafter, this is after the supplication of the Savior was surrendered to sovereignty. Ooh, Pastor Sheares, that was good. When Jesus said, nevertheless, not my will, but thy will be done. Are you here with me? Jesus says, hereafter, after all is said and done, you will see me sitting at the right hand of power. Listen, I come preaching tonight on divine assignment to encourage somebody in here tonight who will receive a word from the Lord that it ain't over until it's over. God, that was good right there. It ain't over until it's over. Because it's not about how you start, but somebody slap your neighbor high five and say it's about how you finish. Listen, can I throw you two right quick? I ain't gonna do 3 points in the poem, but can I throw you two and I'm through? Two and I'm through. Watch this. Watch this. When you keep in mind that it's not about how you start, but how you finish. Here's my first point. If you ain't careful, this might shout you right here. Here's my first point. Watch this. Then you don't allow what you go through to keep you from what you're going to. Who got that? Who got it? Who got it? You don't allow, I think I just said something. You don't allow what you're going through to keep you from what you're going to. Watch this, y'all. If Jesus never would have gotten to verse 64 if he had given up in verses 1 through 63. But because he didn't give up in verses 1 through 63, in verse 64, he says, hereafter. God, I feel my help coming. Y'all, what? Come here. Let me talk to you right quick. Come closer. Y'all, see, the problem with many of us, and I ain't got much time, problem with many of us is that when we find ourselves going through what we go through, we always ready to give up. When we find ourselves dealing with difficulty, we always ready to give up. But I wonder, is there anybody here that's glad like I am that Jesus didn't throw in the towel? He didn't give up the ship. He didn't wave the white flag of surrender. Is there anybody here that's glad like I am that Jesus didn't slit his wrist, that he didn't take an overdose, that he didn't put a gun to his head, he didn't jump off a bridge and commit suicide? Is there anybody here that's glad like I am that Jesus didn't allow what he was going through to keep him from what he was going to? Is there anybody glad like I am? If you're glad, shout yes. Somebody say, preach me, man. Now watch this. Touch your neighbor. Touch your neighbor. Tell your neighbor, say, neighbor. Come on, talk to him like you feel like it. Say, neighbor, you got to go through to get through. Ooh, Pastor Sheares. Y'all, watch this. You got to go, since you got to go through to get through, you cannot allow what you're going through to keep you from what you're going to. I got one more point. Can I give you one more? You got, how many more minutes I got? 3 more minutes. Watch this. One more point. One more point. One more point. It's not about how you start, but it's how you finish. One more point. One more point. Jesus says, hereafter, you'll see me sitting at the right hand of power. Hereafter. Jesus, okay, he's seated at the right hand of power. He's seated because he's finished. Right? He's through. Hereafter, after I'm done, when I'm through, I'll be seated with power. Watch this. Here's my second point. If in order to finish with power, you've got to be willing to fulfill your purpose. All right, I only got 10 minutes, y'all. If you're going to finish with power, you've got to fulfill your purpose. Y'all, the reason Jesus finished with power is because he fulfilled his purpose. Jesus done a lot of good, Bishop Marshall, Jesus done a lot of good things while here on earth. But none of it would have amounted to anything if he had not fulfilled his purpose. Yeah, I know he healed the sick. I know he raised the dead. I know 5,000 hungry souls he fed with 2 little fish and 5 loaves of bread. I know he opened blinded eyes. I know he unstopped deaf ears. I know he caused the lame to walk and the dumb to talk. And all of that was good, but none of it would have amounted to anything if Jesus had not fulfilled his purpose. Come here, let me talk to you. Somebody here listening to me right now, you've done a lot of good things in life. You got a good family. Yeah, you got a good job. Yeah, you make good money. You got a good house. You drive a good car. But what you need to ask yourself is, am I fulfilling the purpose that God has for me? Because if you're not, watch this news flash, you're never going to hear the voice of God saying, servant, well done. You got to understand something. When you stand at the judgment seat of God, he's not going to ask you, hey, how much money did you make? No, he's not going to ask you, what kind of car did you drive? He's not going to ask you, what kind of house did you live in? No, he's going to say things like, I was hungry, did you feed me? I was outdoors, did you give me shelter? I was thirsty, did you give me drink? In other words, did you fulfill the purpose that I had for your life? Because if you're going to finish with power, you've got to fulfill your purpose. Watch this. Let me shut this down. I got 2 minutes. I was watching 2. Let me close it like this. I feel my help coming. They told me I'm on the end. I got to close it. Pastor McReynolds, he acted like the 5th word was the last word. Oh, God. All right, watch this. Watch this. Watch this. Let me close it like this. See, because you got to understand, I don't care what you're going through right now. I don't care what you're dealing with right now. I don't care how hard it is right now. I don't care how dark it is right now. Because it's not about how you start. I wish somebody grab hold of that. It's not about how you start, but it's about how you finish. Have I got some help in here? You need to understand that a diamond doesn't start off a diamond. But before it's a diamond, it's useless coal. But through the process of time and pressure, that diamond has a chemical change. And then what used to be useless now becomes priceless. Because it's not about how you start, but it's about how you finish. Can I go a little higher? Hey, glory. Do you hear what I'm saying? A butterfly doesn't start off a butterfly, but before it's a butterfly, it's an ugly caterpillar inside of a cocoon. And all winter long, it's an ugly caterpillar Do you hear what I'm saying? But when spring